think we might be live, Dolan, as I've just had the notification through on my phone. Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for the post-match pint in association with Purity. Some things are more important than football, and tonight, obviously, we're all very frustrated with what's happened to Villa, but something far more tragic and far more important happened last week. Last week, Aston Villa lost one of their biggest fans in Jack Ryan, 29 years of age, went out for a jog last Wednesday, never came back home, hit by a car, and unfortunately lost his life at the scene. Obviously tragic, and everyone at the Villa View sends their condolences, their commiserations to the family and friends of Jack. Absolute tragic incident, and something that none of us like to hear. I spoke to a couple of his friends, and they've told me that he was a massive fan of the Villa View, so it only seems right that we dedicate this show tonight in memory of Jack. And you'll notice at the top of the screen there is a change.org link where you can actually go in and sign the petition to make the bridge where Jack was unfortunately killed. If you go onto that link, you'll be able to sign a petition to try and make that area safe, because quite frankly, it's not fit for purpose. No one should have to go out for a run and not come back home. That crossing sounds like an absolute nightmare, and thousands of people have commented on social media saying how bad it is. So Jack, he sounds like a wonderful person from what his friends say, and you can tell by his picture up on the screen now. Just look at his face, look at his smile in his Villa shirt. And as I say, everyone at the Villa View sends their commiserations to his family and friends, because it really is a tragic incident. Dolan's with me as ever for the post-match point, and we've got Aaron and Omar as well. And as I say, I mean, it seems academic after what I've just been talking about, but Aston Villa, a plucky Aston Villa, have fallen 2-0 to Man City in the end. And Dolan will come on to the officiating, frustrating as it seems to be every game when we come on and talk. When Villa have lost, it feels like the referees and VAR have had some input. But after what's happened, 19 days without a game, it was a big effort from Villa, wasn't it? And a good performance.
Yeah, no, it was great. And like, first and foremost, like, just rest in peace, Jack. And well said that at the start. It's never easy, but just thoughts go out to his family and friends and everyone that knew him. And even though I didn't know Jack, it hits you hard when it's a fellow Villa fan, especially someone that watches the show.
I think we did. I think we actually did meet him at QPROA. I've been told, someone told me that we actually had a little chat with him after the game. So again, that makes it feel more real.
Yeah. So when you come on and you listen to what you said at the start, and you've read the messages about Jack and what a nice guy he was, then for me tonight that doesn't really come into my thinking at all. It's just a game of football. But we're here to talk about it, and we have to talk about it. So I thought we played really well. I thought we were excellent. Really proud. I mean, what a shift! I thought Matt Targett was unbelievable, absolutely incredible. I thought Cash was really good, because Traore looked a little bit leggy getting back, so Cash was almost doing the job of two. Thought Traore improved his tracking back towards the end of the first half and during the second half. Keeper was great. Mings was brilliant. Konza was brilliant. I mean, it was a great team effort. McGinn looked a little bit wayward with the shooting. He looked a little bit off target. There was a few times tonight when he had to go with his left foot, a few misplaced passes, but it's to be expected. We haven't played a game of football in 19 days, and
exactly.
And we the last two games we've played are away to United and away to City, who are first and second in the league. Essentially, first and third in the league. And we've been in the game. We've been in both games completely. Been in both games. Thought a harsh decision for the Pogba penalty, and then this decision that we saw with the offside rule. I mean, everyone's saying that it's the correct decision. If you dive into the rule book, everyone's saying it's the correct decision. But I didn't know anything about it. Look, it looked offside to me, but everyone says it's the rules, and the rules are the rules, and we go down 2-0. But just super proud.
Yeah, Aaron, as the fittest amongst us, just how much of a Herculean effort was that from the players tonight after 19 days without a game, and two, a lot of them, we don't know specifically who, a lot of them will have been recovering from the after effects of COVID.
Yeah, absolutely great, mate. And I think what tonight showed was that we have a team of real fit players now, and we have a team of real resilient soldiers working in every aspect of every part of the game. 19 days off, being struck by COVID, having to deal with not being in the training camp, mingling with each other, that kind of breakdown of dynamics and everything like that, you would expect to have an impact on a team. But tonight that didn't show at all. It looked like we played yesterday. I thought we were great. I thought we were really, really solid. Masterclass defensively in the first half. A few little errors here and there in the second, but massive shift. It's Matty Targett. I agree with Doles. Matty Targett was phenomenal tonight, and it's a shame that he went off. What a player he's becoming. His left back ability is coming on heaps and bounds game by game, and every game that he plays, he improves, and he's really showing now the faith that Dean and the boys are putting in when they first brought him to the club a few years back. So great performance. And Martinez, what a man! I mean, he is a different class, and he is the goalkeeper that we have been searching for, looking for, fighting tooth and nail to get hold of for many, many years. In my opinion, since kind of the Friedels of this world. I love Tom Heaton, don't get me wrong, but Martinez is just another level, and we're very, very lucky to have him. But it was a good performance, undone by weird decisions, an existence of VAR that didn't show up, and when it would have done perhaps in another circumstance, in another game for another big team. And I don't know, I'm losing my faith with that system now, and I think most of us will agree it's everything that we do nowadays. We gets involved with VAR, or there's a refereeing mistake or something that contributes to the reason that we haven't won the game, when really a draw tonight or a win would have been quite doable. Great performance all round. Pleased with the boys and proud of their performance they put in.
Yeah, Omar, I mean, I know you're absolutely paid off with the decision, paid off with VAR. Yeah. The thing is with VAR now, as a Villa fan, and people harp on about the goal line technology, it's boring. It's a completely separate thing. I don't care about it. Opposition fans it is that harp on about that. But every time it goes to VAR, you just know we're going to come the wrong end of it. I can't remember a time we've come out the right end of when VAR have a look at something. We always seem to be at the wrong end, don't we?
Yeah, it's all of it, especially this season. Obviously, I think the last time a VAR decision went for us was probably against Crystal Palace, I think, when they had the goal chalked off. I can't remember anything this season. And so it's been tight margins, and it's just, you want something to go for you, like the Fernandes pen, the Pogba penalty when Pogba went down. That, if that's Villa again, and we saw against Brighton how it got overturned. If that's Villa, that gets overturned. And it seems like the issue is they've still got referees who are making the decision. So it's still subjective, really. It's still some judgment involved, and it's still the same as it's always been. The bigger teams get the decisions. That's what it seems to be. And it's just unfortunate for Villa that again we're on the wrong end of another decision. And I mean, okay, they're talking about the rule book on BT and how it's actually offside and all that kind of stuff. And he wasn't gaining an advantage. Well, obviously he was. He tried to tackle Mings. That's ludicrous in first place, but. Fair enough if that's the rule, but then there's about 3,000 penalties, 3,000 offsides that have been given in the history of the Premier League that have all been wrongly given, because that happens in games all the time. That kind of situation, players offside, coming back from an offside position, and what Mings has done, he doesn't know Rule 17, subsection 14 of the Premier League rulebook when he's playing, does he? It's just a normal Premier League match. Normally, when that happens, the player's offside. He touches the ball or heads at the ball. If the player tries to challenge him, they give it offside. And end of the day, that's what should have been done. And VAR wouldn't have overturned it. If the referee's on the pitch and the linesman on the pitch gave that offside, there's no way VAR are overturning it. And
exactly
that's end of the day. That's what it comes down to. That's what it boils down to. It's just inconsistency again and again. We're at the end of it. It's just a joke. I'm just sick of it. It's just a shame though, because we played. I mean, Man City were much the better team, especially the second half. They deserve the win, let's be honest. But the way we defended, the way we stuck in, that's the first time this season where we've had to do that kind of last-ditch defending, really, I think. The way we defended. And we showed, if that goal doesn't go in, that first goal doesn't go in, then I think we get a 0-0 draw at the very least. I was sure of that, the way we were defending. But it's just gone against us. And all that effort's for nothing, really. And it's just a shame. I feel sorry for the players more than anything else.
Yeah, because Dolan, I mean, the rules are the rules, and if they are the rules, then they're fair enough. I can't say I've read up on those specific rules, so I don't know. But to say he hasn't gained an advantage is laughable. Whether Mings has taken a touch or not, someone has come from an offside position, disrupted him, I think Mings has taken his time because he thinks he's okay to do that because the guy behind him is offside. So to say it hasn't had an impact and that it's not offside is laughable.
But it's still a risky game, you know. When does he become active again? Then, so he's coming from an offside position. Mings takes the touch. So when does he become active? So you know, for me, you just gotta get rid of it. But listen, Mings had a phenomenal game. I just don't get this idea of like every week there's another fall guy. You know, every week there's another fall guy. You know. Now everyone's saying bring in Courtney Hulls. Well, I mean, this time last year, everyone was absolutely slating Courtney Hulls. You know, why didn't El Ghazi start this time last month? Everyone was slating El Ghazi. So, listen, that's why I don't tend to really read a lot of what goes on the Villa Twitter and on the AVFC hashtag, because it's absolute nonsense. And even some of these comments that are coming through on this YouTube chat are absolute nonsense too. And I have to say, some of the things that you read are ridiculous, you know. No, I thought we were brilliant today. I thought every man was brilliant. Listen, no one likes a defeat. We spoke last week about, you know, could the COVID derail our season? I hope not. We still look like, as Aaron said, we still look like we had played together only last week. You know, we're going into Saturday now. I think tonight would have given us a lot of fitness back in the legs. I still think we played really well. I know if you're an opposing fan, if you're a City fan watching that, you know, you're going to be quite impressed with Aston Villa. I heard the commentator say
it's popped up on the screen.
Yeah, you know, I heard the commentator say that it was the best 0-0 he'd seen up until that point, which is great. You know, people like to watch us. We play well. We play the right way. We look good going forward. And yeah, I mean, apart from getting beaten, which I never like to see, but Man City are a phenomenal team, and you know, the way they pass the ball is just absolutely incredible. And, you know, they're light years ahead of anything, you know, I've ever seen in terms of the way they play. And trying to play against that for 90 minutes must just be an absolute nightmare. And, you know, I got a WhatsApp from my dad saying, you know, that's what happens when you sit back. But I said to him, you know, we didn't
Mr. Dolan.
We didn't. I know. And, you know, usually he's on point with his football, but he, you know, I said, you know, we didn't sit back. They just smother you. They absolutely smother you. You know, it's tiring watching them play because they're just so good in the ball, and they just run teams absolutely ragged. So listen, they deserve to win it. Frustrated, of course, but you know, big game Saturday now to go and put it right.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron, for many of us, that the last game we were at was Man City at Wembley nearly a year ago now. The two Villa teams that we've seen, the team we saw that day and the team we've saw tonight, it's night and day, really, isn't it? And that's something to be pleased with and proud of.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. The team that we saw at Wembley were a complete contrast to what we saw tonight, and what we're seeing consistently now this season. You know, we have come on heaps and bounds. Whatever's been going on in the back room, on the training field, between the players, that kind of camaraderie, those dynamics, that kind of mentality that the boys now have, and that belief in each other and that trust in each other and in the coaching staff to kind of get the right result. It was phenomenal. And I remember watching the Wembley match in the cup final against City and thinking, you know, at any moment now we could crumble. And I didn't sense that tonight. Not even after the goal. You know, I sensed that there was this kind of fight left in us, and that even though we conceded one, we wouldn't let it go, and we wouldn't crumble, and we didn't crumble, and we've not crumbled this year. And I think that's a huge progression for us, because we were a team of young boys, young talent who didn't quite get the mould right in that first season. Yes, we escaped relegation, and we've just kicked on since then, mate. And I'm really pleased with how we look now on the field, and we do make teams like Man City work hard. And yes, I agree. You know, Man City probably deserved their win tonight. I mean, Foden, Bernardo Silva, all of those players on the peripheral of Man City at the top there, you know, they're just incredible players. And when you make things difficult for players like that, I think it really shows the progression and the kind of developments that we're making, and we've still got quite a long way to go, in my opinion. We still need some quality recruits in. You know, the first team look phenomenal, and we've got an immense setup there. But as soon as you start knocking into the bench and knocking down the players that are kind of rotation squad players, you can really see the lack of quality, not lack of effort or lack of ability so much, but lack of quality. And we need that on the bench, because that was the difference. And that is the difference between us and a top 4, top 6 club at the moment, you know, that ability to bring on that game changer, which we don't currently have. But yeah, mate, you know, I think what we need to be, have real perspective on where we are now and where we were a year ago. Because, you know, things have changed dramatically and things have improved drastically. And I think we are on a real roll. And I don't think tonight will hamper us. I think we'll go out Saturday, and I think we'll turn over, you know, any team in front of us if we play like that tonight, and just finish off our chances as and when we can and when they're given to us.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think, Leicester is sitting top of the league at the moment. If they're to lose Jamie Vardy, the drop off of Iheanacho coming in, I would say, I know he always scores against us, but that drop off is quite big, and that is the difference between the Villa and the Leicesters at the moment compared to the stereotypical big boys. I mean, Omar, for all we talk about how Villa's resilience and they were so resolute defensively, we had a couple of moments and we had some chances as well. I mean, just before Man City scored, Jacob Ramsey nearly got on the end of something, didn't he? Great defending from Diaz.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought we could nick it, to be honest. We always looked quite dangerous on the break. First half, we got in some really good positions, and you could tell, you know, Barkley, worked hard, but you can tell he was off his game. His sort of final
he's not
decision.
there, is it?
He's not, and which is understandable. He hasn't played since the first minute of the Brighton game, and you know he's still finding his way back. And match fitness is a completely different thing to normal fitness. So you know, you sort of get that, and you know, Barkley fully fit, playing a number of matches and in form. Plays that ball to Grealish, no problem, and that's a big chance. And second half, I mean, Man City were all over us and we defended so well, but there was a number of chances. The Ramsey, inches away from slotting it in. Great work by Ollie Watkins, McGinn, Grealish again, fantastic vision. We were watching from the TV. We can see pretty much the whole pitch, and I didn't even spot that ball, and he did from there. It was just unbelievable. And McGinn again, played really well in terms of his defensive work and running off the ball, but again was a bit loose with his passing. And again, McGinn's another one. If he doesn't play, if he's off his game or hasn't played in a while, he can do that. He can have loose passes and not quite be at it. And you saw that with the shot, I think, as well. Yeah. So it's just the final third decision making as well. There's a number of other points in the game where we got in really good positions and we could have done better. It's just we're not quite at it, which is understandable. We've had, you can say it's a mini break, a winter break, whatever, but when you're not playing matches and you're not together, it does affect you. So I always went into this game thinking, whatever we get is a bonus in terms of, if we get a draw or a win, it'd be amazing. Just try and keep it tight and keep the score down as much as possible, because I thought we'd be struggling a little bit and we did look a bit tired. The key now really is, as Dolan said, is just to push on against Newcastle and make sure we win that game. If we don't win that game, then it's a bit gutting, this result, I think. But I'm hoping this result doesn't define our season. I don't think it will. We got some. It's sort of worked out well for us in terms of the fixtures now, because Tottenham and Everton have been postponed. Now we've got a good run of games where we've got a good chance of picking up some good points and continuing our momentum. If we win on Saturday, we're on 29 points. We're in 8th position, and we've still got 1 or 2 games in hand on most of the teams above us, and could easily be looking again at top 6, which is where I think we should be aiming at. But Aaron's right. Yeah. There's that quality on the bench is what's stopping us at the moment. El Ghazi and Traore have stepped up in recent times. I thought Traore played really well today going forward.
Yeah, I did too.
Defensively, obviously, it was difficult, but I think that was a tactic. And talking about us sitting back, I think you could see today we didn't really sit back at all, because Traore and Grealish were still sort of staying up high up the pitch for the counter attack, which is not something you do if you're sitting back. So which is why Foden was getting one-on-one with Cash all the time. So I'm not too downhearted about the result, just gutted for the lads of how hard they worked. And you could another day, if that first goal doesn't go in, then the game goes on. City get frustrated, they pour more men forward. There's always a chance, especially when you got someone like Grealish. And Ollie Watkins, who I thought again played really well today as well.
Yeah, Dolan, I know you don't scroll social media. You stay off the AVFC hashtag, as you've said. But at half-time, I looked on Twitter and people were having a little pop at Traore, saying he doesn't track back, which we all can see. His work rate isn't the best going backwards, but I absolutely adore him. I do. I think he's an absolute maverick. That touch he made and then got himself through on goal. I think he's a real wild card and a real useful player for us to come in and out the team.
Yeah, no. First of all, before I answer that, I just want to say if Joystick Media wants to come on the show at any time and talk about Mings and let everyone know why he thinks he should be dropped, but by all means, he can come and take my place after the game on Saturday, and he can give his rundown about why he thinks Mings is such a bad defender, because I don't get it. So Joystick, mate, come on anytime, mate. You can take my place. Yeah, Traore, great player, man. As you said, he's a maverick. He sort of, you don't know what you're going to get with him. He's just got flashes of absolute brilliance, and looking at that, I think maybe he's so unfitted. But that effort when he took the ball down and skinned De Bruyne and came onto his left foot and had a go. It was kind of Crystal Palace-esque when he hit the post on Boxing Day. But no, he's looking good. He's certainly going to be a player. I think he's the kind of player that once he properly settles, I think next season he could be unreal. He could be really, like, seriously unreal. Because he's still a bit raw. He's still coming up to the pace of the game. I don't think he's probably had to work as hard in terms of tracking back. When you play for the likes of Lyon and even Ajax, when you're the kind of the big fish in the small pond, you don't really have to work as much on your defending. And I think he's learning that side of the game now under Dean Smith. So once he gets that down to a T, I think he's going to be a real top player for us.
Yeah, I should say that obviously everyone is entitled to their opinion on players, and we all rate different players. We all think different things about different players. But Aaron, it does seem mad at the moment to be calling anyone out, especially Tyrone Mings, because quite frankly, I know you could judge he's made a mistake. It's not my opinion. It would be someone else's opinion. But how many goals did he prevent in that first half and in the second half before that moment? He was having a great game until then.
Yeah, he was colossus tonight, and I think anybody criticising him or saying that he needs dropping and that we should sell him need to give their heads a good old wobble, because I don't know what they're seeing, because I thought he was phenomenal tonight and has been consistently, I think, this year. Yes, he's got those few little mistakes in him, and he's got those little kind of arrogance moments where he's a bit lackluster and he's a bit delayed and he's a bit cash, but all in all, he's a fantastic defender, and that boy does not need dropping from this side. And I think that goes for a lot of them as well. Look at the stick that Target got end of last season, beginning of this one. All of a sudden, he's now, being called phenomenal, wonderful, talented player. What a boy he is. I just hitting on the Traore one there with Chris saying that. I agree. I think Traore's got some real flair and some real talent. I think the fact that he doesn't have to work as hard down that right-hand side because of Matty Cash. I think Matty Cash overcompensates for him. And Matty Cash is that good. For me, he's the signing of the season. Par Martinez, he is the signing of the season. Matty Cash has changed our back line completely, and everything that happens up that right side is down with Matty Cash. I think he's phenomenal. And I think because he is so good, Traore kind of is put in this position where maybe he is told to be a bit more freestyle and maybe told not to track back so much because they trust Matty Cash to do the job. But I think Traore's class. I mean, that touch tonight was just, he finishes that off, and Traore is goal of the season. Absolutely no doubt about
100%.
it. He is very one-footed, and I agree with Chris there. He is one-footed, but he's still settling in. Look at the stick that Trez got at the beginning when he joined us. He wasn't good enough, nowhere near the level that we need to be playing. And now everybody loves Trez, and he's a workhorse, and he's everything that we need on that right wing. Par is finishing, and I think Traore will come good. He's a very talented boy. He's got a lot of pace. He's got a lot of gas. And I think he knows the game and what he wants to do. I think he knows what he wants to do. It's just sometimes I think he needs to continue developing and adjust to the life of the Premier League, because, You know, it is very different to Lyon, very different to Ajax. You know, we play a completely different standard of football over here. So I think he'll come good, mate. Give him another 6 months, a good pre-season, and next year he'll be flying.
And to be fair, if the coaching staff saw something of him not putting the work in that he was required and the work that he was asked, they wouldn't play him. So like you say, the fact that he is given a bit more leeway, it probably is tactical. I think that's a really, really good point. And Omar, we move on to the red card to Dean Smith. I mean, I don't know how many managers have been sent off in the Premier League in the last few years since that rule introduced. It feels like we're probably the first, which is quite fitting because we seem to be the first for everything. But I know that Villa have like quite a high code of conduct where the coaching staff and the manager, they don't backchat the referee lightly because they know that referee is going to be taking them on again at some point in the future. So I know the coaches have a very, very careful with how they speak to officials normally. For Dean Smith to have obviously said something that's got him a red card, I guess that shows the velocity of how wrong he feels Villa have been done there.
Yeah. Have you seen what he said?
I saw it flash up on the screen.
He said, I thought they would go over to the VAR screen. I saw the incident and saw it was kicking off. So I asked the fourth officials, did they get juggling balls for Christmas? That's what he said. Oh, it's brilliant. Oh, that's
you can't
brilliant.
get a red card for that.
I take a red card for that. That's a great
getting one for that.
Yeah.
That is what he said. You can't.
I mean, I don't understand. They surely understand why he's aggrieved. Like, it's obvious why he's aggrieved. I mean, I was sitting there thinking, why are Man City players celebrating so much? Like, it's going to be given offside. I was like, I don't understand what's going on. I didn't understand. And then, finally they're about to kick off, and Dean Smith's obviously like, what the hell's going on? Why hasn't that been given offside? And again, people can be like, oh, your manager should know the rules and all this kind of stuff. I'm seeing some of the comments, but again, no one knows the Premier League rule book off by heart. And the reason
Tom
why
Julian does. Tom Julian definitely does.
Yeah, obviously he does. He'll have it out next to him, I'm sure. But the way managers and players play the game is they base it on evidence in terms of what they see in the game. So years of experience of Dean Smith being a manager, 9.9 times out of 10 that gets given offside. It doesn't go. There's no VAR involved because the player would get given offside. Rodri would stop doing what he's doing, and then that's it. You start the game again. And so he's obviously fuming. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, is he in the dugout next game? Does that mean he's out?
Does he get
a ban? I believe.
Although was it not? It was like it wasn't straight red. It was
I think it was. I think he got a straight red.
Yeah, 1 match suspension.
Can you appeal a measure getting sent off, or is it?
Can he get to VAR? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we give it to VAR, he'll be banned for the rest of the season.
It'd be like John Gregory days or Martin O'Neill days when John Gregory used to sit in the stands and watch the game, or Martin O'Neill that Fulham game when he sat in the stands and celebrate when Sean Maloney scored. Maybe it will make it work because Dean Smith will be able to see the game better and be able to make some tactical masterstrokes. But yeah, I mean, I can see why he's annoyed. I mean, end of the day, we're all annoyed. We're all still sitting there thinking, what the hell's going on? I'd be fuming. I'd be punching the linesman, to be honest. I think so. I think he did well to restrain himself and get a good joke in there. So fair play to him.
Conor Webber says that it can be appealed. So let's see what Agent Purslow does in the next few days.
This is the problem though. Referees in football, more than any other sport, are just untouchable. You cannot say a word to them. You cannot criticize them.
Goalkeepers.
There's no exactly. There's no responsibility for anything. There's no accountability for anything. Premier League will come out and pick out a statement after the game, and that's it. No one can say anything. That's it. They're like in a law unto themselves. It's ridiculous. It's got to change. This season show that, I think, and that's not just a Villa. Speaking from a Villa fan, every single fan will say that they've all had decisions which have been ridiculous this season, and they can't say to the referees.
The Burnley against Leeds before Christmas. Remember the keeper rushed out and cleaned the Burnley player from behind with his knee. Burnley score, and the penalty or the goal doesn't get given. It's just like it's unbelievable. Like, I mean, somebody should do a montage of horrific decisions this year, because I don't understand. If I was the head of the refereeing board, I'd be looking at that tonight going, this is shocking. Like, I'd be embarrassed. You'd call some sort of emergency meeting because it's not working. It doesn't work. And I guarantee if a poll was to come into football, it'd be interesting to see if I say and what people say in the comments box. If you could get rid of VAR tomorrow, would you get rid of it? 100%.
Yeah, everyone would
get rid
100%.
of it. 100%.
I was a big backer of it. big backer of it. I couldn't wait for it to come in, and there's it's just absolutely ruined the game.
It's ruined the game.
Absolutely ruined the game.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I mean, it ruined games when we were in the stadium, but now we're having to watch every game on TV as well. I don't know I can't work out whether it's worse or better. I can't work out whether it's annoyed me more now I'm actually seeing it happen live and seeing what's going through, or whether it annoyed me more at the games where I was just oblivious to what was happening and you're literally just waiting for it to come up on the screen. I think, Aaron, one of the things that, I mean, I label this at John Moss specifically, to be fair, it's the arrogance. You could see on his face as he's sending Dean Smith off. He loves it, and he's protected, and he'll go home tonight and he'll have his takeaway and he'll referee a game at the weekend in the FA Cup, and his life hasn't changed. But these decisions are costly for football clubs, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes down to what Omar said. It's they do have this kind of untouchable feeling about them, and they know that regardless of what's said against them, it'll either be claimed as a fine for the person that said it, it'll either be thrown against them. And kind of they'll get support from the referees association and all of that sort of stuff just makes them pretty untouchable. And John Moss is he's a typically top four bias referee. You've watched the games over the years and he loves for the top four. There's no doubt about it. And I think any opportunity to make himself look like the big dick, he will do that, and he did that with Dean Smith, absolutely, like you said. That smirk. I don't know why he has to do that, but he does it, and he has done it for many years. I think what the problem is with the referees at the moment, and has been for some time, is that they're incredibly inconsistent, and I don't know where they all get their coaching badges from and they all get their refereeing qualifications from, because quite frankly, it seems that they're all getting them from completely different areas of the game, and from different people and from different boards and from different kind of accreditation places. And the introduction of VAR has just made all of their mistakes and all of their inconsistencies untouchable. And I don't know, mate. I'm lost for words really when it comes to VAR. I'm just so sick of it now. I really am sick of it, and not just for Villa. For all the other clubs that are losing out on decisions that shouldn't be happening. Meant to be clear and obvious, but there's so many decisions that have gone against clubs using VAR this year that weren't clear and obvious. So why was VAR used in the first place? I don't know, mate.
It's supposed to cut mistakes out. It's supposed to cut mistakes out, but what it's doing is actually highlighting the mistakes even more so. It's actually making the mistakes more prevalent. But the thing is, once it's here, it can't go away, because what if it goes away tomorrow and then next week there's a really shocking decision by the linesman or by the referee, and then everyone's going to go, well, that would have been spotted by VAR, so bring it back. So I think now it's here to stay, and for me it's completely ruined the game. It's completely ruined the game. If
they're going to keep it in, then there needs to be some sort of independent third party. Third party who are basically regulating all of it, because at the moment Mike Riley, who by the way was one of the worst referees in the Premier League anyway when he was refereeing, is now in charge of everything. You've got, and the thing is, not just about Villa as well. John Moss today, he's not fit enough to referee, and I don't mean that in terms of the song that everyone sings. I mean literally, he's not fit enough to referee. And it wasn't just us. Man City had about 4 corners that he didn't give because he couldn't see. He wasn't keeping up with the play and couldn't see it. It's not good enough. There's no way he should be an elite professional referee. There's just no way. And there needs to be a review of this. There needs to be a change. There needs to be an independent third body involved, and just make it, if they're going to use it, and they have to, as Donald says, it's out of the box now, they have to use it. They just need to make it better, because end of the day, this is a fan sport, and we've seen it now for the last however many months. Without fans, it's a nothing sport. It really is. Without fans, it's a terrible sport. It's not the same. So if they're going to ruin it for the fans, then it's just only going to go one way.
For me, you're right. VAR has to stay, but a few things need to change. The referees need to referee the game. VAR needs to be ran by a third-party constitution or a third-party group that don't have any interaction with the referees, no friendships, no bias relationships, nothing like that. Just a completely neutral party that operate VAR, because VAR itself, the system, is effective and can be effective. It's the people pressing the buttons, and it's the people making the decisions to use the VAR or not to use it in those certain circumstances. So I think that's what we have to try and do, and that has to be ironed out sooner rather than later, because we can't keep going on with games and seasons forward when there's so many decisions that aren't going people's way. Bad decisions being made, VAR being used incorrectly. It's just not good enough, and it takes the complete enjoyment out of what football is and why we all love the game. And when crowds are back in the stadiums and crowds are no longer cheering because a team scored a goal because they're waiting for the purple lettering to come up on the board, we can't continue like that. So something definitely needs to change.
Yeah, let's move on a little bit from VAR, because we do end up talking about it every week, because most weeks something affects us.
This is the problem, though, isn't it? Because now you're talking about. We've been talking half an hour probably about, maybe more, about the refereeing decisions and VAR, and we've not even talked about how good the performance was. And even City played really well. They're probably the best team in the league at the moment, and we did really well, and they are flying. They've won 6 games in a row or 7 games in a row. They're just unbeatable at the moment. They're so good at the back, and we're not talking about them. We're not talking about Villa and how well the players have done. Matt Targett, we've mentioned him for a little bit. He was probably a man of the match. We haven't mentioned any of that because VAR and refereeing has absolutely ruined the game.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true. Let's move away from the game a little bit now and talk about transfers. Obviously, Conor Hourihane's ended up going to Swansea on loan today. I'm really starting to hate January. Every January, my favourite player goes on loan somewhere. So that's the second year running that's happened. But we've talked about the bench already, Dolan, and how like the bench was looking. It looks like we're going to be getting, is it Sanson or Samson? I can't remember his name, which is really poor. Sanson from Marseille to replace Conor. And someone can let us know in the chat. I've seen things on Twitter about McGinn. He's suspended on Saturday. I'm not sure whether that's true or not at the moment, but if he is, we need to get that over the line pretty quickly, because again, there's 4 defenders on the bench tonight, Dolan, isn't there? And you're not going to need to bring on a whole back 4 in a football match.
Yeah, the bench is woeful tonight. But again, I don't know why we're letting somebody go and bringing somebody in. I think we need to add bodies. We need to players. All due respect to people like Neil Taylor and Elmo, but we're kind of looking at a better quality of player now. And as you say, you turn to the bench and there's nobody on there at all. There's nobody on there to change the game. And
you're looking at right backs on the bench tonight.
Exactly. When you're looking at someone like Ramsey to come on and try and affect the game, although he did very well and he's a really good player and he had a great chance, you're asking a lot of a kid to come on against Man City and try and affect the game when you take off someone like Ross Barkley. So I just think we're massively short. I think we're massively short up top as well. People are saying, Wesley's back in training, but it's going to take another 2.5 months to get back up to match fitness. We looked a bit rusty after 2 weeks off. He's had 13 months of not playing football, and it's I don't understand. I would have kept Hourihane. And listen, I don't know the ins and outs. If someone like Sanson comes up, I've never seen the guy play, but if somebody like him comes up at a great price, then you're obviously gonna, as Smith said, you're obviously gonna go and take it. But I can't understand why we're not throwing 15 to 17 million euros at a striker. Don't understand why we're not going in for someone like a Josh King, just somebody that can come on that has a goal threat, because we don't have any goal threat in the team. And again, I was a little bit surprised not to see Louis Barry. I'd love to have seen Barry on the bench. I'd love to have just thrown him on. A little bit surprised that he wasn't there. I think he's he scored one goal. It was a great goal at that. But I'd love to see him in and around that bench, because as you say, he's going to affect the game more than having two right backs. He's going to make more of an impact than bringing on Gilbert or El Mohammadi. Well, why would you put on 2 right backs? Doesn't make any sense.
No.
So we're massively missing a goal scorer. That's no discredit to Watkins. I thought again he was brilliant tonight, and he brings so much.
He really
was so. And even though he's not scoring, he's doing a lot. He's doing so much good work. But I just think we need another goal scorer just to give him a hand, just to take the burden off him a little bit, because it's an awful lot to ask. I've said this before, it's a lot to ask to bring in, a record signing, £30 million player coming from the Championship. He's only had 2 seasons in the Championship, and this time 3-4 years ago he was playing at Exeter. So to expect him to lead the line and score 15-20 goals is a big ask, but he needs some help, and unfortunately we haven't got a goal scorer at the club apart from Watkins.
No, I mean, Watkins will score on Saturday. I'm pretty sure he'll break his drought on Saturday. He does so much good work. I mean, he wins things that he's got no right to win. He actually cuts out a lot of attacks from the opposition as well. But usually when Villa play the ball forward, and really some of the balls that we play, they should be coming straight back at us, but they don't because of Watkins. And the goals will come, won't they?
Yeah, for sure. He is a born goal scorer. We've seen that in the lower leagues. I remember watching him at Exeter as my local club down here. He knows where the goal is. And I think with Watkins, it's just a case of keep going and keep doing what you're doing, because there are 99% of his game that he is doing well, and you can see that he's doing well, and he's offering stuff that few strikers have offered us in recent years.
Exactly.
Again, he's one of those players where we've got this dark corner of our fan base that are always quite quick to shout him out for his faults and to say that he's not good enough and kind of not really seeing all of those kind of skills and those qualities that he offers us. And he's great. He's a very talented boy. He fits in lovely with the ethos at the club. He fits in lovely with the dynamics of our football. He's well trusted by the manager. And I think people need to remember that trust is a huge thing with Dean Smith and the coaching staff. There's this kind of glue that players have with Dean Smith, and Watkins has definitely got that. You saw that when he walked into the changing rooms on his first day at the club. But Watkins is class, and I think he will come good. And I agree with you. I think he'll get a goal on Saturday, and I think the goals will come from then. We've seen him score some crazy goals already this season for us. That goal against Liverpool where he came in from the left and cut in on his right and pings it into the top right hand corner. He has goals in him. And people just need to give him time. He has only been at the club 6 months, and he's come with a massive price tag. But I agree with Dolan. We really do need to prioritise another front man and someone to support him, and someone to maybe do all the things that he doesn't do. And by that, I mean score lots of goals and plenty of them when we need a goal. We don't need a player to come in and be another Ollie Watkins. We need a player who knows where the goal is and perhaps has a few years experience doing that at the higher level, and someone to bring off the bench, because we just don't have that at the moment. I find it strange that we have so many defensive players on the bench when the likes of Barry could be on the bench for a 10-minute spell at the end, to come on and maybe get a goal. Right. There's more chance of Barry getting a goal in the last 10 minutes than bringing on two defensive players. They're not getting goals, but Barry could get a goal. There's a much more improved likelihood that Barry would come on and get something. And I don't know why he's not being given that position on the bench, just to maybe have that option if we needed it. And that baffles me. But, obviously there's a way of thinking at the club, and they've got their kind of understanding of what they want to do and why they're doing it. But for me, for sure, Sanson can come in. I'm gutted to see Conor go, but I don't think that one's really down to kind of the club wanting to get rid of Conor. It's more that Conor needs game time, and he deserves game time. He's a true pro and he deserves to be playing games, and he wasn't at Villa. So good luck to him at Swansea this rest of the season. But we do need something up top for me. If Sanson comes, then he comes. But for me, priority should have always been attacking player, someone up top. It has to happen, needs to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Ridgway just popped up on the top of the screen there. He said Sanson's playing for Marseille right now, so we'll be lucky to get him in for the weekend, which is obviously that is what it is. I mean, you'd think if he's playing, it's not particularly close. I don't know. I'm not even know on it. I have no clue.
Fabrizio Marzano, the journalist, just said it's getting close. That was like 15, 20 minutes ago. So
but then Milner played for us then moved the next couple of days after Man City. So you don't know, do you? It's the way football works. No one really knows. Everyone's guessing, even reporters, in terms of when he comes that close to actually going or staying.
I think we need to give. I think we need to give Conor Hourihane a special mention, Dan. I think an incredible servant. Just a great player. People like him and James Chester will for me go down in Villa history for just being real class acts and great players and great professionals, and they come into a pretty poisonous dressing room at that time and helped change the club, helped change the mindset and the atmosphere of the club, and he, his numbers stack up for themselves, and he's just a top professional, and just shows you the man that he is. He isn't happy sitting on the bench. week in, week out. He wants to go and play football, and he's just had a baby girl, and he's going to go off and play football in Swansea, which is quite a commute, quite a trek. So nothing but respect for the guy, and I spoke to him during the week, and he said that they want him back for pre-season. So whether or not he'll be back with us next season is yet to be seen. But I think Swansea are getting a great player, and I hope Swansea can come up now. It'd be great to see them back.
Let me tell you, getting him in is a massive boost to their promotion push. That's a game changer. I think that gives them a big differential that probably a lot of teams around them don't have. I mean, Aaron, you look at his record, his goal output, his assist output in particular. I mean, without what he's done for the club, in fairness, we aren't where we are now. People will say that's probably a bit over the top, but it's not really. People like him, Chester, Yedinat, Whelan, without their contributions over the years, Aston Villa aren't riding high in the Premier League now. I mean, he's not playing, I get that, but what they've done to get us to this point is incredible.
Yeah, totally, mate. And without players like Conor, we aren't in the Premier League. It's quite simple, really. For me, we're still in the Championship, playing Championship football, fighting for top six and losing out on silly games. Conor was the difference for us in those seasons, along with Jednat, along with Whelan. You cannot fault the commitment and the loyalty that Conor's shown this club. He loves the club. There's no denying that. We can see that. But game time is important, and it's important to players like Conor who don't want to go down without fight, and he deserves to be playing, and he deserves to be playing football and doing what he loves to do. Some players, I could name a few at the club perhaps, quite happy to just sit on the bench and sit in the background and pick up their £40,000 a week and not play and not really be bothered and have no love for that club that they're involved with. But Conor isn't like that, I think the influence that he gave a lot of the young players, particularly Jack, particularly who else did we have in those younger days? Yeah, I mean, you could name half a dozen players that Conor's had a huge influence on in that dressing room. He's a calm head. He's a top professional, and I wish him all the best. And if he is to come back next year for another season with us, then I would totally welcome that. I feel like he won't. I feel like he'll get a hunger for the games at Swansea and feel like he's got something else to give another club. But regardless, he goes down as a true professional and a true gent in my eyes. And I think the club are very lucky to have had him over the years.
Yeah, I mean, he's 30 in a few months. He simply won't want to come back to Villa and sit on a bench. It's not in his character. It's not his attitude. I mean, his numbers just flashed up on the screen. Incredible numbers, really. And for what started off as 1.5 million and rose to 2 million when we got promoted, he's been a bargain. And also, even in the back end of last season after lockdown, he got assists for so many important goals, and we don't stay up last season without that.
No way. And we've had so much trash over the years, especially the last 10 years in terms of players. We've had some absolute jokers who've been an embarrassment to our club, and we spent big money at them. And I'm not digging out Lansbury here, and I'm just having a joke around just earlier, but we signed him at the same transfer window, and you've seen how the two of what they've done for our club. And we've, in terms of value, pound for pound signing, there's not been many better than him in the last 10 years. But I think as a Villa fan, it's a good thing that he's going. And I say that because it shows you where Villa are as a club right now.
Yeah.
Because Conor Hourihane, fantastic player, did an amazing last season for us. I know everyone was wondering whether he'd be able to step up, and he did in certain games. But I think at the same time, he's suited to a certain type of game, and he's very much, I think, at this stage of his career, very much probably a lower table Premier League standard, maybe top 2 or 3 Championship player. That's where he's at his level. We're obviously trying to get higher than that, and we're progressing nicely, and we're on a journey. It'd be nice to have him in the squad because I think he's a great character, and obviously people like Jack love him, and it's good for morale. And in certain games, against, for example, Newcastle this Saturday, I think he'd be
it'd be ideal.
It'd be an ideal for that kind of game. But I think at the same time, you got to trust in Smith and the team. They know what they're doing. Smith hasn't favoured him that much this season. Ramsey's been ahead of him in the pecking order. Kind of Hourihane, at the age he is, he's going to want to play games, so it makes sense. And he's obviously gone to Smith and said, "Look, I need to go." And Smith, the man he is, has respected that. And he's probably not happy. They're probably not happy with each other. But he said, "Fair enough, go play games, even though we're going to leave ourselves short." And I think we must be fairly confident that we're going to get midfielder in.
Yeah.
And I think Morgan Sanson, I think he's a different level of player to Conor Hourihane. He was very much a hot prospect in France, and did really well early in Montpellier when he played for them, and early on in Marseille, he did really well, and he sort of lost his way and sort of changed his role a little bit in terms of how he plays. But we need competition, because at the moment, if McGinn, Barkley, or Louise get injured, we've got no one. Nakamba comes in, he can do a job. Ramsey comes in, he can do a job, but it's not good enough for where we want to be. So we need someone who can play to a certain level, and Sanson can do that. He's one of Marseille's best players, even though he hasn't performed as well as he can do over the last few months. But he can play in that number 8 position, he can play in number 6, and he can play in number 10. So he can cover so many positions in midfield. So you can understand the thinking behind it. And at the end of the day, that's what we've got. We've got a team, but the recruitment team, Langer, McKenzie, all these people involved. This is what they're looking. They're looking at attributes. They're looking at stats. They're looking at performances. They're looking at all these different aspects and trying to improve the team. So this is part of that process. This is the journey we're on. There's going to be players who are going to leave our team who we love, who've been such a massive part of our revival, and Conor and Chester are 2 of them. Without them, like you said, there's nowhere we go up. But at the same time, it shows you that we're progressing nicely, and like I said, it's a good thing. It's a good thing because it means that we're heading in the right direction. Now, whether Sanson's a good enough player and does well, who knows? There's still, it's football. But at the same time, I understand why we've gone for him. It makes sense, and hopefully he can come in and give us a different option, because we've got 22 games left now. The midfielders are working so hard. We saw today. We need someone else off the bench, as everyone said, to come in. And midfield is that position where you need legs. And I sort of understand. I'm sort of going to disagree with you, all 3 of you, actually, in terms of Louis Barry, why he's not. Yeah, I understand the clamour for him to be in the team. At the same time, he scored a great goal against Liverpool, but he was up against an under-23 defender and up against an under-23 goalkeeper. And I've seen him play quite a few times this season on whenever we've been able to, and he's played mainly on the left. And he's been out of games, drifted in and out of games, but he's scored goals and he's a goal scorer. But he's still young, and it's a different level, the Premier League, compared to what he's playing at the moment. And Dean Smith and the team, Mark Delaney, Boateng, they know their players. They know whether he's ready or not.
That's true.
They haven't been hesitant to put Jacob Ramsey in. He's come on against Man City today. He's come on against Man United. When we needed a goal, Chelsea. They've trusted him to do that. There's no reason why they wouldn't trust Louis Barry to do that. And with Almo and Gilbert on there, the reason why I think they've put Almo on there is because he can play right wing, and then that means you've got Traore and El Ghazi who can all play up front as well if we needed to, if Watkins was struggling or whatever. Now, it's not ideal. Don't get me wrong. It's not where we want to be. We definitely need a striker, I agree, but I can see the thinking behind it, and I can see why Louis Barry hasn't been included in the first team squad. Albeit I'd love him to be in the team, but it is what it is.
That's a good
far too sensible, far too reasoned. You're not going to be invited onto this show ever again, to be honest, Omar. How dare you come on the show and disagree with us all and then speak absolute sense? I'm not having that. Acceptable. We should probably end with someone talking sense, because it's not often that we get the luxury of doing that on the Villa View. We will be back on Saturday for the post-match point after the Newcastle game. Could actually end up being John Terry against Steve Bruce if Dean Smith isn't allowed in the dugout. We'll point you towards what we talked about at the top end of the show as well, about the Jack Ryan passing last week. Massive Villa fan, watcher of this channel. Please, the link will be in the description. Please go and sign the petition to make Battersea Bridge safer. We don't want this happening to anyone else. Absolute tragedy. And again, we send our condolences to Jack's family and friends. As I say, we'll be back on Saturday. Up the Villa. Let's hope for 3 points then.
Up the Villa. Come on.